Hello guys, welcome to our first lecture of Geometric Dimensioning and Tolerancing GDNT. GDNT is a standardized technical language and the content of this lecture will be Introduction to GDNT, what is GDNT, why GDNT and the advantages of GDNT. So let's move towards the introduction of GDNT. In 1938, at time of industrial revolution, we realized that if you want to build rifles, military products in mass quantities, then we need to standardize the fasteners which we use, the dimensions that we use. We cannot use the same bolt in same hole all the times. We need to standardize the parts. So GDNT through ASME Y14.5 is a result of many years of study and collaboration by dedicated individuals in the United States to find a more complete language of design. And GDNT is a standardized technical language that should be known by design engineer, production or manufacturing engineer, process engineer, quality engineer, tool or gauge engineer. So if all these engineers knows GDNT, then they can simply communicate without any other language barrier. For example, if designer knows only English, manufacturer knows only French, and quality engineer only knows Japanese, then there is no issue. They can communicate with each other by using GDNT. Our next point is, what is GDNT? GDNT is a symbolic language and it is used to specify the size, shape, form, orientation and location of features on a part. So, by using these 14 symbols of flatness, cylindricity, straightness, circularity, position, symmetry, concentricity, angularity, parallelism, perpendicularity, profile of surface, profile of line, runout, total runout, we can control form, location, orientation, profile, runout of feature on part. Here I am using this flatness symbol, so I am controlling its flatness within point 1. Here by using the cylindricity symbol, and I am controlling its cylindricity. Let's take an example. If I give a tolerance only 16 and 15.89, then that means I am controlling the size of feature. I am not controlling its shape. Then part may produced like this. Here it is 16, 15.89, 15.95. All these are within the tolerance limit of size. But what about this shape, this curve profile? I cannot say that this part will assemble at its assembly condition. So I have given this flatness tolerance. So I can say that I will accept the part if it is within the outer boundary of 16.04. So I can say that if the part is within the envelope of 16.04 and within the size limit of 16 and 15.89, then this part will assemble at its assembly condition. So our next point is, geometric tolerancing allows a design engineer to specify the maximum available tolerance and consequently design a most economical part. Here we can see that this part has not given any tolerance. Its dimension is 100 mm. So a manufacturer have to work harder and harder to achieve this dimension, exact 100 mm dimension. But what if actually this exact 100 mm is not required? Then up to what extent a tolerance is allowed? Up to what extent this 100 mm dimension can change? That should be decided by the design engineer. That should be decided by design engineer upon the functionality of this part. So if a designer say, okay, plus minus 0.5 tolerance is acceptable, that my part is function if it is within the dimension of 99.5 and 100.5. So the manufacturer need not to work hard to achieve exactly 100. It can vary up to plus minus 0.5 tolerance, within the plus minus 0.5 tolerance. And we know that unnecessarily tighter the tolerance can increase the cost of production as well as inspection. So our next point is GD&T is a design tool. Before designer can properly apply geometric tolerancing, they must carefully consider the fit and function of each feature of every part. If somebody says that I want to make assembly of these two gears, and he says that I have given a tolerance of plus minus 0.02 for this tooth profile of bigger gear, and I have given a tolerance of 0 plus minus 0.01 for this tooth profile, and now these are not meshing with each other. Then designer asked him, why you have given plus minus 0.02 for this and plus minus 0.01 for this. Then he says that I have made this part with casting as it is cost effectively, and I cannot achieve 0.01 or less than less than plus minus 0.02 for this part, and I have made this part with the forming process, and I can achieve plus minus 0.01 for this. Then it is worthy thing? No. So while putting any tolerance on part, we need to check functionality of part, and after that process capability. If the process capability not meeting the tolerance requirement, then we need to change process. Next point is why GD&T. Basically, the purpose of GD&T is to describe the engineering intent of parts and assemblies. The datum reference frame can describe how part fits or function. Here, in this example, this is a feature control frame or a datum reference frame. It shows that position of this hole of dia 10 with tolerance plus 1 and minus 2. It says that the axis of this hole should be positioned within circular dia of 0.5 with respect to datum A and datum B. Here in next figure, this feature control frame shows the location of this shaft. So we can say that if I made these parts by using GD&T as per ASME 14.5 drawing specification, then they will mate with mating parts in assembly situation. The next point is geometrical tolerances are used to convey in a brief and precise manner the complete geometrical requirements on engineering drawing. If this is a feature control frame, and what if it is not there, then we have to add a note on this drawing that the size of hole dia 10 should be within plus 1 and minus 2 tolerance limit, and the axis of the hole should be positioned within a tolerance limit of circular dia 0.5 from datum reference frame A and B. Because of GD&T and its symbolic language, we can compile all this information within this single feature control frame. The last point of this video is advantages of GD&T. GD&T saves money, as we know that tighter the tolerance, higher the cost of production as well as inspection. GD&T allows us to create a part which has maximum allowable tolerance without affecting its functionality. GD&T also ensures the design requirements are carried out. It provides a common language for manufacturer, designer, and quality engineer. It saves time. It ensures the interchangeability of mating part. So thank you friends for watching this video, and this is just the introduction of GD&T, and we will go in details of GD&T in next videos. So if you like my videos, please share with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe my channel Engineering Guru. Thank you.